So today, my topic is why the GDP matters. So you hear the GDP talked about a lot in all countries because it's based on well, you know what, just to give you an official definition, because I like to be a little bit official, because this is not something that comes naturally to me, but GDP is a leading indicator of a country's economic health. It gives economists an idea of the nation's financial viability, and it's usually expressed as a comparison to the previous quarter. So if you're paying attention, we're down lately. A lot of it has to do with the politics that's going on in Canada. And you don't want to get me started on that, believe me. But it is something that economists watch to indicate the financial viability of a country. Now, that's why GDP matters. Now, Canada's number 10 in the world, largest GDP. We have many, where's my sheet here? Oh, I got too many papers here. The stuff that gives us our biggest economic drivers is mining, oil and gas, manufacturing, services, construction, agriculture, manufacturing. So we got a lot of great stuff going on in Saskatchewan. We've got a lot of the resources that the world wants. And our own country right now is cutting our throats and not allowing us to get them out properly. So that's all I'm going to say about politics. You guys gotta check that out and then vote correctly, because otherwise we're going down. Anyway, the biggest thing I want to talk about is why GDP doesn't matter. So yes, I kind of tricked you. GDP doesn't matter as much as your mindset matters. I got to tell a story I read one time in, I think it was in the Toronto Star or something like that. But it was about this old guy that ran a hot dog stand on the corner of downtown Toronto. And he was like going about his business. He always made a good living, sold hot dogs, left and right. People are always wanting to come out and eat his hot dogs. And his son, who was going to school, I think he was studying economics, tells him, you know what, Dad, there's a recession coming on. I just don't know how you can, survive. It's like getting really bad. The markets are going down, and he went on and on. I'm not really sure what it was all about. But anyway, so the dad, because he really believed in his son a lot, listened to him. And be darned if his business didn't go down. So why do you think that happened? You know what? It happened because he expected it to happen. Before that, in the middle of the recession, he was doing fine, But that's where your thoughts really, really, really control your outcome. If you start thinking the world is going to hell in a handbasket, guess what? That's how you're going to make all your decisions based on that. You're not going to take advantage of the opportunities that come your way. You're going to, I hear this one all the time from my students, but interest rates are going up, Edna. How am I going to judge cash flow as interest rates are going up? Do you know what? I've been hearing that for 11 years since we started. Guess what? They're not up very much. As a matter of fact, they've been up and down over the last 11 years. Doesn't really matter. It's still below 5%. It's awesome, So run your numbers. I know the lenders do. Run it at 5%. If you're building still cash flows, or you can make it work, make it work. People never like to buy at the height of the market because the prices are too high. The prices are too high. The prices are too high. And people will never buy at the low of the market because they don't know what the hell's going to happen next week, so they scare themselves out of it. So can you see why I harp on mindset so much, you guys? It makes all the difference in the world, because if you believe, whatever you believe in your life is going to come true. I hear this all the time too. And I see all kinds of other real estate gurus saying, you have to make the money in the buy. If the seller doesn't wince when you make an offer, it's not low enough. Go so low they cry. I don't know. I've heard all kinds of stuff like that. And you know what? That is the biggest BS I've ever heard. Yeah, it might work for you when you're, doing a fix and flip or something. But when you're looking at apartment buildings, the money is in the buy and hold. And sometimes that's 5 years, and sometimes it's 10, and sometimes it's 20. So you don't go in with a short-term attitude going, well, if it works, I'll keep it, and if it doesn't work, I'll sell it, because that's when you're going to get hurt. That's when you're going to get burnt, because you will want to sell when the market's down, when the times are the toughest. And really, that's when you should be buying. But I learned this over and over and over again when I was working as a financial advisor selling mutual funds. Hey, good morning, everyone. How are you guys? Hi, Jerry. Hi, Rhonda. Hi, Henry. Nice to see you guys on. I learned this when I was selling mutual funds. You know what? We would always be told, if you're buying your regular can of salmon and you buy it, a can every week, every time you go to the grocery store, you buy a can. And then all of a sudden it's on sale. Would you stock up or would you not buy? So we always were taught that you would buy. But guess what? It never worked like that in real life. I'd have the odd client that would be all excited about buying when the market was on sale, but most of them not. I was the busiest when the market was up. Oh yeah, I got to get my money in the mutual funds. Did 12% last year. I got to get there. Got to make, make sure that I get my retirement saved for. And then the market would drop, and they'd go, well, I'm just going to hold on this year. I don't think I'm going to put in. I'm just going to hang on. Maybe next year. And you'd have to talk people into buying when it was low. I see the same thing in real estate. We're probably having our toughest year ever. And with cash flow, we've had high vacancy. We've struggled to keep tenants in because there's all kinds of incentives out there and you know what, we're doing it too. So we're stealing tenants, but we're losing some. So people are moving at the drop of the hat. They just want the best price, and they're moving. But there are times, like you get good tenants, treat them good. Respectfully, do what they want to do. They're not all looking to move next week or all looking to see what the competitors' numbers are out there. I mean, I rented for years and years and years. I never even paid attention to what the market rents are. I just lived there because I wanted to, and maybe it was decent rent at the time I moved in. I honestly didn't even pay attention until I wanted to move for some reason. So most people don't make decisions based on what's happening in the economy. So just know that. So if you, and then the next question I have for you is, if economists are so smart and they follow all this stuff, why aren't they the richest people in the world? Because they're too negative. They only think and concentrate, and not all of them, but most of them, on the negative. I can't make that decision, the market's bad, or I can't do this because the market's bad. You can't make your life decisions based on the market. You make your life decisions based on what's right for you at the time. And you know what? They won't all be perfect. Don Campbell, one of my mentors, I remember him saying, and more than once, many times, we bought most of our deals as average deals, market price. We had a few home runs, but you know what? The biggest portion of our portfolio was average deals. What does that tell you? Average deals. You don't need to make a home run. So all you people that are worried about the market being up, the market being down, just buy something. That's what we've done over and over again. We just bought. Sometimes we did really well. We were able to refinance, get our investors paid back quickly. And sometimes that even comes back to bite you in the ass, because just recently we had one where we were able to refinance and at a really high price per door. And now when we go to refinance 3 years later, guess what? The prices are way down. This is in Saskatoon. So we can't even get the mortgage that we had. Isn't that sad? So sometimes when you think a home run, something that's a home run, turns out to not even be. Okay, I don't know what happened there, but my screen went all wonky. So where are you doing that in your life? Where are you holding yourself back when you could just be buying something? We have our event coming up here at the end of March, and I call my program the 5-year plan. And and one of the topics that I'm going to talk about, I don't know if I have my agenda in front of me, but it's I think it's here. Anyway, it's the 5-year plan. Or maybe it's 10 years. That's what I titled it. Because you know what? 5 years, 10 years, it's still better to do something than do nothing. I just don't believe in just doing nothing. Move forward, make some choices, buy something, and then just make it work. And maybe you go through a downturn before you go on an upturn. Maybe you go through the upturn and then you go on the downturn. But all I know is nothing goes in a straight line. And so you're going to go ups and going to go down. It doesn't really matter when that happens. If you buy high, then maybe you're going to go down and then it's going to go back up. I remember listening to a podcast, and actually I think it was this year. And the guy was asked, what would you tell your younger self? He'd been investing for 20 years. And he said, I'd tell my younger self to quit focusing on, grinding that seller down 50 grand on an apartment building. He said, I bought a building 20 years ago. He said, I just refinanced it and pulled out $2 million. He said, and you know what? I almost lost that deal because I was trying to grind him down for that last 50 grand. You know what? The market was soft. I really felt like his price was too high. It wasn't cash flowing where it needed to be. The cap rate wasn't where I needed it to be. And I ground him for 6 months. And guess what? In the long run, I ended up buying it for the same price he wanted. And now, he said, I could have easily lost that deal if the market had been better or somebody else would have came along and taken that deal. And he said, and so what I learned is, don't worry about it. Buy it. He says 20 years later, you'll be able to pull out $2 million. And I think his investment at that time was 500,000. So I'm not sure how many units it was, but it gives you an idea of what inflation does in a market too. A lot of it has nothing to do even with what you do. You have inflation. Yeah, you can force appreciation through increasing rents and stuff like that. So I don't recommend that you just buy a property and never increase rents, keep it 100% full and let rents go compared to the market. I don't recommend that. You have to stay on top of that kind of stuff. But a good portion of what's going to happen for you in building your wealth is going to have nothing to do with you. It's going to have to do with the fact that, you got an average deal in an average area, in an average economy, and your tenants paid your mortgage off. There's a big portion of your wealth right there. Your tenants paid your mortgage off. Yeah, there's work to do in the meantime. You got to make sure you keep those tenants in there. You got to keep those tenants happy. You got to learn what's going on so you see, make changes when you have to make changes. When the market takes a turn down, now's the time to be locking people in on their leases. Or offering them incentives to stay. Don't let them all move out and then go, maybe I did something wrong there. Like, stay in touch with the rest of the world. Don't stick your head in the sand and lose touch with everything. But the biggest play that you're gonna be able to do well is right here. So I hope that helped. And sorry for teasing you with why the GDP matters when it's really more about why the GDP doesn't matter.